am Maria Rose Parolino.
I am Maria Junmai Caviar. I am Mia Zafar Ali.
And we will tackle about norm reference grading, particularly in 7-point and 8-point scale.
Determine the percentage score, weighted score, and final grade of Aralene Panlipunan. And lastly, we will know how to compute the quarterly grade.
For test 1, we will tackle about the norm reference grading. And these are the list of final grades obtained in a class of grade 7 students. So the first step is to find the mean. Formula is mean is equal to sigma, the sum of all the grades, over number of grades. So adding all the final grades, we come up with 3,761, and number of grades, there are 45 students in a class, so 3,761 over 45, the mean is 83.57, or round off to 84. Then second step is to create a 7-point scale. But first, we have to identify the range of scores. So highest score is 92 and lowest score is 75. So the range is the difference between the highest and lowest scores. So 92 minus 75 is equal to 17. Next is we divide the range of 17 into 7 equal intervals, since we will going to get the 7-point scale. So each interval will have a size of 17 over 7 is equal to 2.42. Then for simplicity, we round down this, since it is not above 5, so it will become 2. Next is we will create the grade ranges. So 7-point scale, it is approximate grading system. So in the first column, it composed of the grade range. Second is the grade in letter form, and third is the description. So since the interval in getting the 7-point scale is 2.42, or simply 2, then we will come up here with the first in the top is 90 to 92. Then it corresponds to letter A plus, and the description is excellent. It is the top percentage of the student's grade. Then second is 85 to 89, corresponds to grade letter A. The description is very good. Then third grade range is 80 to 84, corresponds to B plus and described as good. Next is 75 to 79, corresponds to grade letter B, and it is satisfactory. Next is 70 to 74, grade letter C plus and described as fair. Then 65 to 69 corresponds to grade letter C, and it described as acceptable. And then last is below 65 grade, which corresponds to F and described as the failing mark. Now we will get the norm reference grading system based on 7-point scale. So A plus or excellent, we have 15% of the class grade. Then A or very good, we have 20% of the class. And then B plus, which is good, corresponds to 25% of the class. And then for B or the satisfactory, we have 20% of the class. And C plus or fair, we have 10% of the class. And C or acceptable, we have allocated 5% of the class. And for F or fail, for the bottom 5% of the class, which corresponds to 100%. And then 7-point scale of 45 students. So here's the grade range from A plus, A, B plus, B, C plus, C, and F. So the grade range, as you can see here, A plus corresponds to 90 to 92 grade range. So the percentage of the class in 45 students is 15%. So 15% of 45 students is equal to 6.75. We will round up to 7 students. Described as the top 15%, which are the excellent students. Then in grade A, 85 to 89, we allocated 20% of the class. So 20% of 45 students, there are 9 students, which are the very good performer in a class. So in B plus, 80 to 84, 25%. So 25% of 45 students, there are 11 students. It corresponds to good performer of the class. And then B, grade B, the grade range are 75 to 79. So 20% of 45 students, we have 9 students, corresponds for satisfactory. And C plus, grade range between 70 to 74, which has 10%. So 10% of 45 students is equal to 4.5. So round up, it will become 5 students, which is fair. And then grade C, grade range between 65 to 69, we have allocated 5%. So number of students is equals to 2. Then 5% of 45 students is equal to 2 point something, and we round down to 2. It is described as acceptable. And then grade F, grade range are below 65. Also 5% in a class. So it has 2 number of students described as fail. So therefore, the failing marks are 75 and 75 in 7-point scale. So in getting the 7-point scale, we refer to this uh, interval. We come up with this grade range because of this size interval. Now let's move on to the 8-point scale. Given the data is the mean. Mean is equal to 83.57, or we round up to 84. So the first step in getting 8-point scale is create an 8-point scale. So first, we have to identify the range of scores. Then the highest score is 92 and the lowest score is 75. So the range is the difference between the highest and lowest scores. So 92 minus 75 is equal to 17. Then we divide the range of 17 into 8 equal intervals. Each interval will have a size of, so 17 divided by 8 is equal to 2.125. So we have to round down. So each grade range will be approximately 2.155 points wide. So we can now round this value to 2 points for simplicity. Then we are going to create the grade ranges. So to categorize the grades, we can start with the lowest score and create intervals. So 8-point scale, it is an approximate grading system. So grade range for the first column, and then grade letter for the second column, and description for the third column. So first is grade range between 89 to 92, corresponds to grade letter A plus and described as the excellent student. So second, the grade range of between 85 to 88 corresponds to grade letter A and described as very good students. Then third range is between 81 to 84. Then grade letter B plus corresponds to good performer students. Then next is grade range between 77 to 80 corresponds to grade letter B and described as the satisfactory students. Next, grade range between 73 to 76 corresponds to grade letter C plus and described as the fair students performer. Then next, grade range between 69 to 72 and corresponds to grade letter C described as the acceptable performer. And then sixth scale is grade range between 65 to 68 corresponds to grade letter D plus and described as the students that needs improvement. And then last scale is below 65. It corresponds to grade letter F and described as the failed students. Norm reference grading system based on the 8-point scale. So grade grade letter A plus corresponds to excellent. We have 12.5% of the class. Then grade A or corresponds to very good. We have allocated also 12.5% of the class. And then D plus, which is the good performer in the class, 15% of the class. Then grade B, satisfactory, 20% of the class. C plus, which is fair, we have also 20% of the class. Then C, the acceptable, we have allocated also 10% of the class. And then grade letter D needs improvement, 5% of the class, and F fail, bottom 5% of the class. So in getting this norm reference grading system based on 8-point scale, we have the intervals of 2.1.25 or simply 2. So here's the 8-point scale of 45 students. So at the top, A plus, grade range between 89 to 92. We have 12.5%. So 12.5% in 45 students is equals to 6 students, described as the excellent performer in the class. And then grade A, grade range between 85 to 88. We also have 12.5% in a class. So we also have 6 students, the very good performer in the class. Then grade B plus, grade range between 81 to 84, 15% in a class. So 15% of 45 students is equal to 7. So 7 good performer in a class. Then grade B, grade range between 77 to 80, we have 20%. So 20% of 45 students is equal to 9. 9 satisfactory performer in a class. Then grade C plus, grade range between 73 to 76, 20%. We have 9 students, which are the fair performer in the class. Then grade C, grade range between 69 to 72. We have 10%. So 10% of 45 students is equal to 4.5%. At 4.5, we round up it with to 5 students. They are the acceptable performer in the class. So grade D, grade range between 65 to 68, we have 5%, so 2 students, described as needs improvement. Then lastly, grade F or below 65, we have also 5%, so 2 students. have a failing mark. Therefore, in a uh, 8-point scale, two students have failing mark.
So for the task 1B, we're going to compute the grade of a student in grade 7 English with the following raw scores. First is written work, 72 out of 100 of 90, and then performance task, 86 out of 110, and then quarterly test, 67 out of 85. So for the step one is compute the percentage score. We're going to find the percentage score, and here is the formula. Learners total row score divided by the highest possible score times 100. So 72 is the learner's total row score. 72 divided by 90 is equals to kaan ka na 0.8 times 100 and so for the total of 90%. Next is the performance task. Here is the formula. Learner's total row score divided by highest possible row score times 100. Um, for the learner's total row score is 86 divided by 100 equals to 0.76, 78 rather, and times 100 is equals to 78%. And the quarterly assessment, the same the same formula, learners total row score divided by the highest possible row score times 100. For the learners total row score is 67 divided by the 85 divided by 85 times 100. So 67 divided by 85 is 0.79 times 100 is equals to 79%. So we're going to the next step. The step 2, convert percentage scores to weighted score. So first is the written word. Percentage score times the weight of component and here are the weight of components. That's it, the subjects and the components. Um, so first is the percentage score is 80% times 30% is equals to 24, and then performance task percentage score times weight of component. As you can see in the percentage score here, performance task is 50%. And 78 times 50% is equals to 39. And then the quarterly assessment, percentage score times weight of component. 79 times 20 is equals to 16. So next is step 3, compute the initial grade. So initial grade, written work plus the performance task plus the quarterly assessment. So 24 plus 36 plus 16 is 79. And using the transmuted table, 79 is transmuted to 86. So the final grade for the grade 7 English is 86%.
So, in grade 2, we have grade 10 students in mathematics with the following row scores. So, we have written work, 34 out of 55, performance task, 40 out of 80, and quarterly test, 38 out of 50. So, step 1, we have to compute the percentage score. So, in written works, we have the formula. Percentage score equals to learner's total row score divided by highest possible score times 100%. So in written works, we have 34 out of 55. So 34 divided by 55 times 100%. Then 34 divided by 55 equals 0.62. So we have to multiply it by 100%. So 0.62 times 100% equals 62%. So in performance task, we have the same process. Percentage score equals to learner's total row score divided by highest possible score times 100%. So 40 out of 80. So we will put here 40 divided by 80 times 100%. So 40 divided by 80 equals 0.5 times 100% equals 50%. Now we will compute the quarterly assessment. So we have the percentage score equals learner total score divided by highest possible score times 100%. So the learner's total row score is 38 divided by possible high score 50 times 100%. So 38 divided 50 equals 0.76 times 100% equals 76%. So in step 2, we have to convert percentage score to weighted score. Written work, we have formula here. Weighted score equals to percentage score times weight of components. So the percentage score is 64. So we have to multiply it by the weighted weight of component, which is 40%. So 64 times 40% equals 24.8. So in performance task, the same formula, percentage score, which is 50 times weight of component, 40%. So 50 times 40% equals 20. So we have here the quarterly assessment. So we have the same process, which is the percentage score, 76 times weight of component, 20%. 76 times 20 times 20% equals 15.2. So we are now in step 3 to compute the initial grade. So we have here the formula. Initial grade equals to weighted score of written work plus weighted score of performance task plus weighted score of quarterly assessment. So we have here the 24.8, which is the written work, plus 20, which is the performance task, and 15.2, which is the quarterly assessment. So we have to sum it up. 24.8 plus 20 plus 15.2 equals 60. So the transmuted grade is 75. So the initial grade is 60. So the transmuted grade is 75. Therefore, the final grade for grade 10 in mathematics is 75.
Comparison between 7-point scale and 8-point scale. So the 7-point scale and 8-point scale both divide the class into performance categories, but they differ into several key aspects. First is number of categories. So the 7-point scale has 7 categories, while 8-point scale has 8 categories. Second, the range of scores. So the 7-point scale has broader intervals, meaning a wider range of students is classified into each grade category. For example, 25% of students in 7-point scale fall into the B plus category, while the 8-point scale has a more refined approach, dividing students more narrowly into smaller segments. Examples is 15% for B plus and 12.5% in A level. Next is the grading procession. So the 8-point scale offers more detailed distinctions, especially in the lower ranges. The introduction of D plus needs improvement, and the final division between C, D, and F categories allow for a more nuanced assessment of students' performance. Then lastly, the focus on higher grades versus detail. So the 7-point scale is simpler and may be more suited to scenarios where you want a broader, less complex system for classifying students. In contrast, the 8-point scale is more specific, which allows for greater differentiation, particularly for students who are struggling or which has a grades below 70% to offer more detailed feedback. In conclusion, the 8-point scale creates a more granular and detailed grading system, particularly for students performing at the lower end of the spectrum, offering specific categories like D for those who needs improvement. It provides a more precise categorization of student performance compared to the 7-point scale, which is broader and simpler.
For task 2, we will discuss the grading system of K-12. We have here the written work, performance task, and the quarterly assessment of Miss Maris and the subject Aralyn Panlipunan.
So, we are now going to compute the written work of Miss Maris. For written work 1, the highest possible score is 25. She only got 18 points. Written work number 2, she only got 10 points out of 20. Then written work 3, 19 out of 30. Written work 4, she got a perfect score. Then written work 5, she got 22 out of 25. And then written work 6, she only got 25 out of 30. And lastly, written work 7, she got 30 out of 40 points. So we have to sum it up. So the total row score of Miss Maris is 144. So 144 divided by total highest possible score, which is 190, is equal to 0.76. So 0.76 times the percentage score, which is 100, it's equal to 75.79. And we have to round up, it is equal to 76. Then 76 times weighted score, which is 30, the total is 22.8, and round up to 23.
We will now compute the performance task of Miss Maris. We have here the performance task 1 to 4 and its highest possible score and its row score. So we will add its row score, which is 16 plus 24 plus 24 plus 28 equals 92. So to get the percentage score, we will divide the 92, which is row score, to 110, the highest possible score. So 92 divided by 110, the highest possible score, is 0.8363. Then 0.8363 times 100 equals 83.63. 0.63. So 83.63 times 50%, the weighted score is 41.815. Then round it up, so it will become 41.82. So we are now in quarterly assessment. So in quarterly assessment, its highest possible score is 50 and her row score is 30. So let us divide the row score 30 and the highest possible score 50. So it is 0.6. So 0.6 times 100 is equals to 60. So 60 times 20% equals to 12. So We have now the weighted score 12.
Next is we're going to get the final grade of Araling Kanlipunan. And to get the final grade of Araling Kanlipunan, we have to add the weighted score, performance task, written work, and quarterly assessment to get the initial grade. So 23 plus 12 plus 41.82 is 77. So using the transmuted table, the initial grade 77 is transmuted to 85. So the final grade for Araling Kanlipunan is 85. And the remark is pass. To get the general average, we have to add the final grade of 8 subjects. These are the 8 subjects. So 89 plus 89 plus 82 plus 84 plus 85 and so on is equal to 164. And then divided into 8 is 85. 85. So that's the general average of Maris. And the remark is pass.
In task 3, we have here a sample card and we will discuss on how to get the initial grade and quarterly grade of Mr. Rico for the third quarter.
So first learning area is Filipino. Written word, the given percentage score is 65. So in getting the weighted score, the formula is percentage score times the weight of components. So from the table, weight of the components, so written score is 30%. So 85 times 30% equals 25.5. Then for performance task, percentage score 81 times the weight of component, which is 50%, is equal to 40.5. Then for quarterly assessment, the percentage score is 75 times the weight of the component, which is 20%, equals 15. In order to get the initial grade, we have to add written work, performance task, and quarterly assessment. So 25.5 plus 40.5 plus 15 equals 81. By using transmutation table, the quarterly grade for Filipino is 88. Next learning area is English. The given score, percentage score for written work is 82. Then the weight of component is 30%, since Filipino and English belongs to language. So 82 times 30% equals 24.6. For performance task, the percentage score is 77. Then weighted score is 50%. So 77 times 50% equals 38.5. And for quarterly assessment, the percentage score is 75. Then the weight of component is 20%. So 75 times 20% equals 15. So to get initial grade, we have to add written work, performance task, and quarterly assessment. So 24 plus 6, 38.5 plus 15 is equal to 78.1. So initial grade is 78.1. And by using transmutation table, Rico's quarterly grade is 86 for Filipino. And the next learning area is mathematics. So for written work, percentage score is 71. So since the weight of components for written work is 40%. So 71 times 40% equals 28.4. And for performance task, the percentage score is 67. And weight of component is 40%. So 67 times 40% equals 26.8. And for quarterly assessment, the percentage score is 62 and the weight of component is 20%. So 62 times 20% is equal to 12.4. So in order to get the initial grade, we have to add written work, performance task, and quarterly assessment. So 28.4 plus 26.8 plus 12.4, the initial grade in mathematics is 67.6. And using transmutation table, the final grade of Rico in mathematics is 79.
Next is science. So the percentage score of written work is 76. And then the weight of component based from the table is 40%. So to get the weighted score is multiply the 76 times 40%. It is equals to 30.4. Next is percentage score of performance task. So 79. And then the weight of component based from the table is 40%. To get the weighted score is multiply the 79 times 40%. So it equals to 31.6. And then the quarterly assessment percentage score is 65. And then the weight of component based from the table is 20%. To get the weighted score is multiply the 65 times 20%, it equals to 13. And then get the initial grade, add the written score, the performance task, and the quarterly assessment. So 30.4 plus 31.6 plus 13 is equals to 75. Next is Araling Kanlipunan. So the percentage score of written work is 83. And then weight of the component based from the table is 30%. And then to get the weighted score is multiply the 33 times 30%, it equals to 24.9. And then the percentage of performance task is 83 and the weight of component is based from the table is 50%. So to get the weighted score is multiply the 83 times 50%, it equals to 41.5. Next is the quarterly assessment. So the percentage score is 83, and then the weight of component based from the table is 20%. So to get the weighted score, multiply the 83 times 20%, it equals to 16.6. To get the initial grade, add the written work, the performance task, and quarterly assessment. So, um, 24.9 plus 41.5 and plus 16.6, it equals to 83. So that's 83. Next is edukasyon sa pagkatao. So the percentage of written work is 84 and then the weight of component based from the table is 30%. To get the weighted score is multiply the 84 times 30%, it equals to 25.2. And then the percentage of performance task is 84 and then the weight of component is 50%. To get the weighted score, multiply the 84 times 50%, it equals to 42. And the Quarterly assessment, the percentage is 84, and weight of component based from the table is 20%. So to get the initial grade, add the written work, performance task, and quarterly assessment. 25.2 plus 42 plus 16.8 is equals to 84. So using that transmutation table, the 75 the trans the 75 transmuted to 84, and then the 83 is transmuted to 89, and the 84 is transmuted to 90.
Next, we have edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan. So we have here the percentage score of written work 80 and its weight 20% based on the table of weight of the component. Then percentage score of performance task 80, then weight of component 60%, and percentage score of quarterly assessment 77, then 20% based on the table of weight of the components. So to get the initial grade, we have to uh, multiply the percentage score and its weight. 80 times 0.20 equals 16. Then 84 times 0.60 equals 50.4. And then 77 times 0.20 equals 15.4. So we will add it all up. So 16 plus 50 plus 4 plus 15 plus 4 equals 81.8. So this is our initial grade. So, so based on the transmuted table, 81.8 will be transmuted to 88. So his quarterly grade of edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan is 88. So we are now in MAPE. So in MAPE, it has individual grade given to each area like music, art, physical education, and health. To get the percentage score of the subject MAPE, we have to add the given score from each area. So 76 plus 85 plus 80 plus 85 equals 326 divided by 4. So divided by 4 equals to 81.5. So we have to round it up so it will become 82. And then uh, the same process from performance task to get the percentage score, we have to add its four given areas. 77 plus 81 plus 80 plus 81 equals 319. Divided by 4 equals to 79.75. So we will round it up so it will become 80. And then in quarterly assessment, we have to add the four areas 75 plus 80 plus 78 plus 75 equals to 308. Then divided by 4, so equals to 77. So to get the initial grade, we have to multiply 82 times 0.20 equals 16.4. 80 from performance task times its weight 60% equals to 48. Then 77 from quarterly assessment, then times 0.20 from its weight equals to 15.4. So we will add it up 16.4 plus 48 plus 15.4 equals to 79.8. So, using the transmutation table, 79.8 is transmuted to 87. So, his quarterly grade from Mate is 87. So, Rico's composite grade in Mate is 79.8 and we transmuted it, so it will become 87. So, in the third quarter, Rico performed best in edukasyon sa pagkatao. We can see that um, his grades is consistent. Unlike the other subject, his grades went from high to low. For example, in Filipino, 81 to 75. Unlike in edukasyon sa pagkatao, his grade 84 is consistent. The learning area that Rico needs to improve is mathematics. His quarterly grade is low and it only passed the minimum average, which is 75. So we can see that his um, score is it keeps falling from written work 71, performance task 76, and quarterly assessment 62. So Rico should need to improve his understanding in mathematics. With the use of grading scale with the corresponding descriptors, his level of proficiency in Araling Panlipunan is very satisfactory. So Rico did good in this subject. Rico's overall performance needs improvement. Rico has a specific weakness that needs to be addressed. Um, we can see that Rico's strength is Filipino, English, Araling Panlipunan, edukasyon sa pagkatao, edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, and MAPE, which showcase his excellence in non-numerical subjects. To communicate this to his parents, I will humbly explain to them the performance of Rico and suggest ways to improve his weakness like tutoring or extra practice to improve math skills while maintaining his high scores in non-numerical subjects. This will create balance on both numerical and non-numerical subjects. That way, they will have the opportunity to communicate and help their child.
As future educators, recording and computing grades responsibly is essential, as grades reflect a student's hard work, effort, and progress. Being careful, accurate, and honest in how we handle grade is essential for maintaining trust and ensuring that students receive fair assessments of their abilities. Careful accuracy ensures fair and equitable evaluation, as mistakes in calculation or rubric application can unjustly impact a student's opportunities. Careful recording involves maintaining organized records, adhering to grading criteria, and providing constructive feedback to guide improvement. Honesty is equally vital as it upholds the integrity of grading system by reflecting a student's true performance without inflating or deflating grades to appease others. Together, these practices build trust and support genuine student growth. Transparency with students and parents is essential to foster trust in the grading process. Open communication about grading criteria, assessment methods, and expectations help prevent misunderstandings and provide clarity. In cases of confusion, transparency allows teachers to explain grades and identify areas for improvement. Ultimately, maintaining the integrity of the grading system reflects the teacher's professionalism and commitment to fairness. By being responsible, careful, and honest, teachers ensure that students are accurately recognized for their efforts, fostering trust and meaningful
As a future teacher, I will approach grading with care, honesty, and integrity, knowing that it carries significant weight in shaping my students' future. Being responsible in these rules means not only recording and computing grades accurately, but also ensuring that my actions reflect fairness and professionalism. This ethical commitment will serve as foundation for my teaching practice and a model for my students to emulate.
Computing grades in intermediate learning areas holds significant educational value as it assesses student progress, identifies strengths and weaknesses, and informs instruction. Accurate calculations ensure fairness, reliability, and validity. To maintain integrity, educators must consider weighted averages, grade distribution, and standardization. The computation process has substantial pedagogical implications. Data-driven instruction allows teachers to refine strategies based on student performance. Grades profoundly influence student motivation and engagement. Moreover, they facilitate collaborative communication between parents and teachers. Best practices promote transparency, consistency, and regular constructive feedback. This encourages students to reflect on their progress, setting realistic goals. Despite challenges like bias and technology integration, educators strive for holistic assessment, incorporating non-academic skill and competency. By reflecting on reading practices, educators optimize student learning, improve instructor and instruction, and foster a supportive academic environment. This reflective approach enhances the educational experience, ensuring grades serves their purpose, guiding students toward academic excellence.